Welcome to the Empowered Spirit Show. This is your host, Terri Ann Heiman. I'll explore the connection to the human spirit in a way that helps to navigate your life, including crisis. I am passionate about helping you to open up to your intuition and the metaphysical world of spirit to find your confidence in your own inner guidance. Take a pause, be inspired, learn ways to show up focused, centered, and more dynamic in your everyday life.
Welcome back to the Empowered Spirit Show. Thank you so much for tuning in and joining me today. This episode is being sponsored by Ritual and Shelter. Are you looking for a magical place to shop and hold space? Check out Ritual and Shelter online or in Homewood, Alabama. Browse through their bookshelves covering topics such as energy healing, crystal healing, Reiki, chakras, auras, the Akashic records, shadow work, astrology, and earth-based healing. You can also find herbal teas and tinctures alongside their crystals and oils to help establish a mindful mindset and fluid ambience before meditation, ritual work, and reflection. Ritual and Shelter is dedicated to providing one-on-one, in-depth conversations with customers to help them find the most efficient healing methods and resources that match their unique interest and energy. They offer tarot sessions, Reiki, sound bowl, and crystal healing, and now they are offering witch consultations. Visit ritualshelter.com to book an appointment and bring peace back to the body, mind, and spirit. You can also find them on Instagram at Ritual Shelter Shop, as well as Pinterest at Ritual Plus Shelter. Happy Thanksgiving to all the listeners in the United States. This is a time to offer gratitude for our family and friends, and also a time to remember our indigenous roots with respect and honor the sacred land that we live on. I often feel a little disconnect sometimes celebrating when the reality of how this land was taken and the customs lost. It does hurt, but I honor the heritage of where I am and the heritage of this land, knowing that we all have native roots somewhere. And as we open up and offer that gratitude for the harvest of our season, offer that peace for the land and peace for all mankind, including our families, I gather around with this love and this offering for gratitude of the season. So here we go, continuing right into the full-blown holiday season. What is that for you? I know as we move through this time, this season that we've been in has been a huge amount of deep reflection. We have a powerful super full moon coming in on December 4th in Gemini. It's going to be asking you to kind of break up, let go, and move forward. And this is a huge preparation for all the cosmic forces going on right now. All that galactic energy is preparing us for waves and waves of informations and higher vibrational energy coming in. All this retrograde energy, we've got like 6 planets. We all know Mercury, right? Mercury's communication. So when it goes retrograde, it's like travel, communications, contracts, all these things we need to go back, reflect, slow down in all of that communications. Now, luckily, it will move out at the end of November, right into December. Now, we have other planets not often talked about, like Jupiter. Jupiter is a big planet, and it went retrograde right on that 11/11 portal. This retrograde invites reflection on personal growth and the deeper meanings behind your pursuits, urging you to really evaluate what truly nourishes your life, your path, your soul. It helps us with that inner reflection in a different way. Saturn will be coming out soon, but Saturn retrograde reminds us of our responsibilities and how we organize our lives. It relates to lessons that are sometimes a little heavier than some of our fun and playful energies. It does encourage us to review the boundaries and the commitments that we make in life. You can use it as a great time to get all your to-dos organized. That's the way I like to look at Saturn energy. Uranus is also in retrograde, and this challenges stagnation and encourages innovation. This retrograde may bring up unexpected changes and the need to really kind of reassess and recognize where you do want to move forward and bring in different personal values for your growth. Neptune's retrograding in Pisces, and this is deep. Neptune's influence can lead to introspective regarding dreams and illusions and spirituality. It encourages you to really confront your inner truths, so needed right now. And then we have Chiron. Chiron, known as the wounded healer. It helps us to really understand that victim energy we may want to carry, but it does prompt us to grow and to learn, to heal on those reflections of our past wound. Lots of personal growth and understanding can come forward. So as all of these planets and asteroids and cosmic forces are churning and churning, we are upgrading our own ability to connect with the galactic forces, to open up to that expansion of consciousness, to bring that wisdom forward. Many shifts are coming through in December. Many shifts that will affect us in a higher sense of vibration, light codes, all the things that we have been talking about on the podcast. So it is a time to go deep within and recognize what those inner truths are for you. And if you need help going within, I do have private mentoring that I offer. I can help you learn how to set up your practice, learn the tools and techniques to take you deep into your soul's energy, connect with your guides, and build that spiritual practice for you. I offer a complimentary spiritual upgrade call with me, and let's talk about your path, your light, and how you can work with your soul's energy and the cosmic forces and begin to find that truth of your ability to stand up, to live the purpose with joy, with light. I'll be sure to put that link in the show notes. So all of this potent energy of reflection and uncovering the hidden truths provides the perfect backdrop for today's conversation. Have you ever felt a deep connection to a past life or wondered about the scientific basis of your spiritual experiences? Today, we are diving deep into the fascinating intersection of science and spirituality. We'll be exploring how modern science is beginning to confirm the ancient wisdom of the Akashic records, past lives, and our soul's journey. I am so honored to have Adam Apollo with us today. Adam is a visionary author. He's a speaker whose latest book, Lifetime Spiritual Explorations of Earth and Galactic Pastimes. It's a groundbreaking exploration of these very concepts and topics. And in our conversation, Adam shares incredible insights into the scientific evidence for past lives, the nature of our soul's journey, and how we can access this profound wisdom to empower our lives today. Before we begin, let's take a moment to pause and center and set an intention of gratitude. So wherever you are, taking a nice deep inhale, breathing up the body. And as you exhale, begin to call all your energy into you, grounding. Inhale, expanding the breath up the body. And as you exhale, dropping right into the heart, right into that deepest part of your heart, feel that connection with your spirit and the greater spirit. Know that you are loved, guided, protected. Feeling all this energy coming in around us as we take this time to honor this season. Where I am in the season of fall, we find ourselves in the direction of the west in the great medicine wheel of life. Where the sun sets each and every day, we notice the cycles. We offer the gratitude for the harvest of our work. Taking a moment and feeling this energy of the west, offering this gratitude to Mother Earth. And we call in all the directions now to guide and protect us. To the west, the north, the east, and the south, above us, below us, right into that deepest part of your heart. Allow that gratitude to radiate all around you, setting that energy. Taking another deep inhale and exhale right to the heart, feeling the heart open, feeling the illumination of the third eye. And as you're ready, blinking the eyes, back open, coming back. So my guest today, Adam Apollo, is an international speaker, educator, and founder. His deep exploration of past life began with childhood anomalies and intensified through 3 decades of visceral recall and transpersonal research. Adam's work unites ancient memories with cutting-edge science to awaken soul remembrance and catalyze planetary transformation. A co-founder of Unify and lead faculty in global academics on physics and self-mastery, his work bridges worlds, from speaking at the UN and the White House to many appearances on Gaia TV and popular media outlets. So let us welcome Adam to the show. Welcome, Adam.
Thank you, Terri. It's lovely to be here with you today.
Well, I am very excited to talk to you. One of my favorite stories is talking about the Akashic realm and lifetimes and our soul journey. So yes, and congratulations on this latest book, Lifetimes, Spiritual Explorations of Earth and Galactic Pastimes. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
What led you to writing this book?
Well, actually, it was the invitation from the Sacred Stories group after I completed my previous book, The Dragon Key, last year. And The Dragon Key is, in comparison and in context, this one is, a deeply esoteric, deeply visceral, raw, exposed, deep dive into my personal soul's journey and having past life memories. And then I tell my story of lifetimes I've had across the galaxy, and it's the first of a 4-book series to tell my entire Akashic journey as far as I can remember it up to the present moment. So that one's a deep, deep dive, and 550 pages, and the special edition is fully illustrated, so there's like hundreds of images in it. And they reached out to me because they're like, hey, this book is amazing, but can you make one that is accessible to anyone? So like anyone could pick it up and understand how to do this work and actually make it more structurally prescriptive in terms of like a methodology and approach for how you've worked with past lives. And so I had an absolute joy in writing this book and co-creating it, really, because there's 20 stories from different people's past life adventures in the middle of the book. And it also helped me to sort of formalize and lay out the science a lot more in depth at the beginning of this book so people understand this is real, this is not woo-woo. There's many, many, many other people that have done studies on this work with thousands of people proving that this exists. And so you can stop gaslighting yourselves out there and start actually exploring your past lives. And I give you all the tools and the techniques to dive in and to go deep, explore your past lives, and have the discernment to work your way down to who you actually are, instead of just getting caught up at the archetype level where, everybody thinks they're Cleopatra, or everybody, they get stuck at that level of archetype rather than going into the personal journey.
Oh, I so agree with you. And I have to say thank you, because you explained exactly what I teach and what I do, especially this time of year. I really get into it because this is when we go deeper into our soul and all that wisdom comes forward. So you I think you did a great job, really. I'm reading through the beginning going, yes, look at all this experience he's showing us. Look at the evidence. Look at this science. You've done a lot of studies in epigenetics, and you bring that through, which I think is so important, because yes, it is easy to go like, oh, tell me a past life. I get it all the time. I'm an Akashic reader. And it's like, well, why do you want to know this? What are we going in for? Like, yeah, I can show you a life as a queen, but what is that going to really help? So I totally agree. And I love the way you give all those science information, the evidence, the little boy that knew the fighter, we all saw that in the news, right? It's like, wow, this is what we need to hear. Yeah.
Right. Thank you. I feel that science provides a really good foundation for logic and for understanding ourselves. And I mean, it, obviously it has limits, because we also have been in a world that has a lot of academic momentum in specific ways and specific areas. And when you have enough people with a shared belief and your ability to get tenure is based on that belief, you're less likely to be willing to branch away from standard psychology or from standard Egyptology or whatever it happens to be. But the practice of actually doing the science, of doing the work, studying our experiences, testing our experiences, exploring their experiences with other people, that's where there's a lot of magic. And so I bring the simple way of applying that kind of logic and discernment to your own past life journey through the book, so that you end up not just having a story in your head, but being able to tell the story and back it with your experiences, with the synchronicities, with the interpersonal experiences, with the skills and abilities that you began developing and coming through with, so that you can really, rest in the truth of your experience.
Oh, I so agree with you. And I know for myself, once I started working in the Akashic Records, at first it was, let's go up, let's learn, soul purpose, what are we doing? But then after I started recognizing even just some of my own trauma, some of my own situations, why am I still holding this? For me, it was grief that sent me on a huge whirlwind after the losing my parents and all. And I think I mentioned I was in Freddie Silva's book talking about portals of energy. Here I'm standing in this portal of energy and all this comes back at me. And because I have some of the training to be able to go into the records, it all makes sense. And then I'm downloading these sensations. I'm remembering things about myself and I'm connecting those dots. But the beautiful thing is the healing. It lasts. I work with it. I open up. I recognize. And sometimes, you know what? It comes back up and we recognize, okay, this is a past life. And I think that's the beauty of it. We can really work with those timelines for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And, just like any big wound in this life, you can go through healing with it and accept it, and you'll experience massive shifts from doing that. And sometimes, every once in a while, something might still trigger you a little bit or still bring back that part of yourself. But it's a gift, right? Because the more you are able to see and to face these facets of you, the more you integrate the wisdom and the skills that you've developed in response to it. And that's certainly true across our past lifetimes. As you face your pain and you face the challenges that you went through, a lot of people are scared of that part. But it's no scarier than just actually accepting what you experienced as a kid. It's done with. It's over. It's in the past. It's not simultaneously happening. And that's actually really, really important for people to understand, is that you already went through it. It's already done. It's already completed. And now your job is actually just to accept it. And if you can accept it fully and deeply, you can also get all these skills back and all this knowledge back and all this wisdom back that you cultivated during those times.
I think that's the key. It's the wisdom.
Yes.
So often we come from these lifetimes with the pain and then we're holding it in the body remembers and we just remember the pain. But when we go back in and open up the energy and go into it a little more, that's where the wisdom comes forward. And one of the things you mentioned too that I so agree with is like our soul travels through many lifetimes, and it's not like we have so many different purposes. Like I've noticed for myself, I keep carrying the purpose. I go a little deeper, I learn a little bit more. Maybe in this lifetime it shows up differently. But that soul energy, the journey of the soul is just so beautiful. And then that's where we have the wisdom. That's where we evolve and that's where we grow. And you even talk about the whole idea of like, even like the psychology and the physics of memory and where we're holding it and what are those triggers and how we can open up to, and even just that it's not kept here, right? Like that's such an old concept. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. When we get into the genetics of things, my theory is that you don't just have a mother line in your genetics and a father line in your genome. You have a soul genome. And when we look at DNA, I was a teacher in epigenetics and a speaker on that for an organization called BioVision 2020 many, many years ago. Long before 2020, the goal was actually to achieve clarity on all use of any genetic modification by the year 2020 and ban any genetic modification that couldn't prove that they had full knowledge of the genome. Because at the time we started doing genetic modification, one of the leading genetics researchers, one of the top doctors on this in the world, Dr. Sonia Contreras, said that 98% of our DNA is still a mystery. Only 2% is the coding proteins that we understand. So if 98% of our DNA was a mystery when we started genetically editing the food that we're going to eat, that's a big risk factor. So I was a director of this organization and a speaker for it. And in my work with those studies, I started to find really interesting correlations between the genetic structure of this sort of mystery DNA or junk DNA, we called it at times. And we're finding that environment can switch on and off certain genes within this set, and those can completely change your genome going forward. And I started to consider, well, if we evolve at all, there has to be some living continuous genome that is evolving and picking up codes from your experiences and from your environment. And then some of that will become hard coded into your genetic ancestral DNA that's passed to your children, but other parts is actually just maintained with you as part of your own sort of personal data stream. And when you start to see that people have things on their bodies that were wounds, marks on the bodies from wounds in past lives, this was a huge scientific study done that I talk about in the book, and many, many other sort of key facets where we see physiological data connections and abilities, natural abilities in the physical body that are carried over from prior lifetimes. We know there must be a mechanism for this. And this third genetic stream, I believe, is the key to that, to understanding that. And actually, if we could map that fully and completely with an openness to the fact that we may be mapping across cultures and times and lives, I believe it will be possible for us to actually read some of the Akasha of our past lifetimes with genetic studies of our DNA.
Oh, I so agree. I so agree. Especially, we talked about this on our last episode with Judith Corbin Blackburn about the sixth dimension and that junk coding of the DNA. It's like, wow, let's open up that, because that's where we have so much information. So it's not junk, that's for sure. But I think that's going to help us to recognize this. And I agree. I think it's fascinating. And a lot of it started in my own personal work and just from reading other records. And then I started putting it all together. Because to me, it's fascinating. It's that energy psychology. When we see those parallels, and then we can see what's holding us back, and then we can see how we can move forward and then continue. I call it a new timeline, right? It's like, yeah, we can make those changes. And it is, for me, for our soul's purpose. What are we here for? Right?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And purpose, as you were saying before, I loved how you were saying how, you've done some of the similar things across your different lifetimes. And for me, it's the same. There's different ways that I embodied my purpose in different times, but the thread, as I've come to understand my journey as a soul, the thread is pretty continuous. Like, I'm doing the same deep work and the same work of helping souls remember, the same work of helping link people across time to understand inevitably why we came here. And for many people, it's actually why you came to Earth and why you're on Earth and why you're experiencing yourself as a human. Why did you choose to step down from a hyper-advanced galactic civilization where you essentially lived in heaven on Earth? You had your needs met, all the things you could want. You didn't have to work for money. You could travel to any star system you wanted to. And this level of freedom, why would you choose to let that go? Like, what could be so important that you would choose to let that go to come and incarnate here as a human here on Earth? And the answer to that question is extraordinarily profound for almost everyone. It reveals that thread, that beacon of purpose that's within our soul, and that we're willing to actually face hardship at times in service of love.
Yeah, let that settle in for a moment. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And I love that you bring in the whole galactic energy and that starseed energy. And it is amazing. I know for myself, I'm Lemurian, 100%. And I have a huge affinity towards it. I'm spiritually sourced. And then I'm able to see where that Lemurian lifetime helped me in information that I transitioned with the Atlanteans, with the Arcturians, and all of this information. I even saw a lifetime where in this lifetime, I helped prepare bodies for the women for burial. And I even saw in another lifetime where the core shell and I was transforming the soul energy and up in the galactic. And for me, it was almost like so reassuring, thy work be done. I know this is always happening. I know what I'm doing. And it was very reassuring no matter what. I'm like headed out to California, but got a big transition coming, moving. I don't know what's going to be, but I know I'm going to do it. Like I just know
Yeah.
this work will go with me. And I have that reassurance from looking at some of the galactic starseed energy and my past life, pulling it all together. I think it's all connected. And I think as we open up those extra codes of the DNA, we can learn so much. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah, I
loved your
deeply
description
agree.
of it. You didn't put the Lemurians in there, like, where are they? But I'm very special to that. But you did give some of the other starseed informations, some of the traits are and the sources are. And I think that's very
Yeah.
valuable as we open up to expand. Yeah.
I'm not sure. I think I maybe did mention that a lot of Pleiadians migrated to Earth during this time period, and so many of the Lemurians were an expression of the Pleiadians. The Pleiadians incarnating on Earth and bringing different star codes to Earth, and so. You have a lot of the records of Lemuria through the Pacific Islander tribes and through the Maori from New Zealand, Polynesian groups, Balinese groups, and so a lot of these codes were carried and kept by the ocean farers, the ones who knew how to sing to the waters, and all of those different peoples all point to the Pleiades as the place where they came from. And so there's really strong historical links there, not just, metaphysical links. And as Lemurians, as that culture spread around the world, that culture also brought with it a lot of galactic codes that became the seeds for the Age of Atlantis, for the rise of this sort of Renaissance period on Earth where humanity had an opportunity potentially to become part of this galactic community and to fully go there. But Gaia wasn't quite ready for that yet. She was like, y'all can't come down here and join in on me and visit me and then just take off and go back to your other worlds. Like there's a journey here and you need to get to know me. And so that's how I kind of look lovingly at the end of the last ice age, and the fall of the Tower of the Babel is, not a story of God destroying man's desire to become gods or to reach the heavens, but rather as the story of a planet that has many, many gods and goddesses, beings from other worlds coming here and not wanting them to just leave and ignore the journey that Gaia has to offer and her journey, that the teaching that she has to bring to all of us. So, breaking open the throat chakra, you get the floods, you get the spreading out of the peoples and all these different languages, all the sounds and the songs of Gaia Terra and her magic coming through this beautiful, diverse human species, which just happens to be a mix of so many different species out there. And we're all getting to experience this very primitive journey back to becoming a galactic species again.
Yeah. I so agree. And there's so much wisdom to bring forward and so much to open up to. I remember, I guess it was about a year ago, I was talking to Barbara Handcloud about fifth dimension, her whole, actually all the dimensions really. And we were talking about Lemuri. She's like, yeah, you must have been spiritually sourced. I was talking about just like getting crystals and having them by my bed. And I think that's what we do. And then you start to trust it. You have somebody confirm it. You start to trust it. You start to open up. That helps to open up your own DNA coding, exactly what you're saying. And then we start having these memories, and now we're trusting it. We're not ghosting it, as you said, or doubting it, but we're allowing ourselves to expand that consciousness and our own light body and our own codes of who we are and what we're doing. Very important right now. Yeah, because we live so much in that flat 3D, 4D world. No, it's time to open up and expand. So when we have all the stories, like your book does, you start out with the information, then it goes into the 20 different stories. We get to experience those, and it gives us more ways to resonate and to understand, oh yeah, I know this, I've seen that kind of thing.
Yeah, and to accept the way that you chose to do it and your personal experience, and no matter how subtle or how vivid it was, almost all of us have had past life memories and past life experiences. we most likely, as I said before, you gaslight yourself out of it because society and culture tells you that that's not real, it's not possible. Our science doesn't understand these things yet, but we have them. And we do tend to have triggers with certain specific time periods. We do have natural abilities and skills that we don't always know exactly where that came from. And the more we explore ourselves and the vastness of life, the more we kind of get to know each of these different gifts and facets of us. And as you said, we're very much trained to, literally even collapse our perception. For example, so many people always say, you're in the 3D world, right? Well, sorry, but I haven't actually experienced 3D ever in my life because I'm constantly moving through time, experiencing myself moving through time. So at the very minimum, we're all experiencing 4D. Like you can pretend that something in the 3D is a freeze frame, but it doesn't ever actually exist that way. And then simultaneity means that you're looking at your being and your life, and all it is you just start to be able to perceive how you move through time. And you can look at this life as though it's a series of patterns and cycles and points where you went through similar things or you faced similar relationship challenges, and hopefully you learned the lesson this time, right? As you come back around to the next, and you can see these pathways, and that stream of you goes back not just through this life and through your birth, but across many, many, many different incarnations. And there are similar patterns, similar skills, similar relational dynamics, similar choices that we have made across our lives that are part of the synchronization of our soul across time. And as we do that excavation work and truly get to know these facets of us, we are given this tremendous gift of being able to integrate what we've completed, the lessons we've already learned, the wisdom we've already gained. You already went through a lot of that pain, so you need to accept it. That's the key. And you get skills back, you get knowledge back, you get abilities back, and you stop reliving the same patterns in this life. And that's really key. It teaches us how to accept what's been done and how we've learned what we've learned. And we got the skills that we need now, and then we can grow and move on and to create a new pathway that's even more amazing and beautiful and blissful for us.
Yeah, create that new pathway. I totally agree. And learn the lessons and take the wisdom. And I think as humans, we live in 3D, but we can access all the dimensions when we can open the heart and get out of that limited beliefs or that waking state, as I would say. But I think that's just a way of looking at it, right? But we can recognize what those triggers are. We can go in there and do a little work and use all of our spiritual tools. There's so many tools today. So we don't have to relive that hard pain. Like you said, we have experienced it. And your book gives us that. The last part of the book gives you meditations and examples and ways to go through and help to really process a lot of this energy and open up to a deeper part of our soul's journey. Very important right now. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. And to heal and to grow, because we need everybody in superhero mode if we can possibly get it right. So,
amen. Yes, we do. Yeah.
As you do the work, it turns on your avatar mode. You start to sync across lifetimes and be able to drop into the skills, abilities, accents, knowledge, language of any one life at any one moment.
Yeah. More and more awareness comes forward for sure. And the consciousness expands. That evolution opens up to who we are for sure. Yeah. I love it. So great job on the book. It really is laid out well, and the stories, and then even those exercises at the end can help us all. And I think that's what we need, the tools to do it. And then now we just have to do it, right?
Yeah.
We just have to do the work, which
Exactly.
again, it's not hard. To me, it's fascinating.
Yeah.
Right. When you start hitting those synchronistic parts of your own soul and what you've come in to learn. Yeah, I do agree. So that is really awesome. Where can we find you? What's going on? Are you teaching, trips, events? What are you doing?
Yeah, many things. I just finished one of my most epic adventures I've ever taken. I led a group in Egypt, a small group, 17 through all three pyramids, in an 8-hour span or so overnight, and then to the Nile, and on a cruise all the way up and down the Nile, activating each of the sacred temples. At this stage, I've now done Egypt enough times and have such clear memories from both Atlantean era as well as post-Atlantean rebuilding era, as well as during the dynasties, from a very specific lifetime there, that I have a lot of familiarity with the technologies and the systems inside of these temples, and help my group find the resonant notes and how to activate each of the ports. For example, most people don't even know there's a series of activation ports inside of the Grand Gallery leading up to the King's Chamber and the Queen's Chamber. And everybody just thinks they're holes in the walls, but they're not. If you sing into all of them, it activates a resonant link between the King and Queen's Chamber, which is a critical link to make if you're activating the whole system of the temple. So I also got a chance to experience a very small temple that my father, in my lifetime during the dynastic period there, built out in the middle of the desert. It's a tiny little temple. And on the walls, painted in this temple, as I was bawling, I could barely see for a while because I was just feeling so much grief and love and all this reconnection from being in this little temple in the past, and my own family's connection to it. Here it is on the walls where there's, a depiction of two suns and a planet and a golden ship with white line, like lion beings, and then all these like little beings on this golden ship passing through a Stargate structure, not on water, and then going to one sun, one planet representation of our sun and Gaia. Literally, painted on the walls, here's how we traveled from another star system to come here. And it was absolutely profound. And so, yeah, I've been on an amazing journey. And after Egypt, I was in Bhutan for over a week, integrating with my past life in Bhutan and in the Himalayas, and celebrating the King of Bhutan's birthday there. So that was fabulous. So I'm actually preparing to open up to allow people to sign up for this Egypt trip again next year. If you want to come, it's going to be an absolutely life-changing journey. I guarantee it. And you'll hear that in some of the stories and the video and audio and stuff told from this journey that we took. And I'm opening up a course in the Shift Network coming up in a couple weeks on December 20th. You can join the free live session for that. And the Shift Network course is going to be a really powerful deep dive on integrating galactic lifetimes and Earth lifetimes, and giving you the skills that I train somewhat in the book, but there's a lot more and a lot further and deeper we can go. So if you want to walk with me through that process and actually integrate your lives in that way, you can. And I'll also be doing another companion course with Common Sentience that will help unpack more of the facets of the book and take you in deeper. So a lot of work teaching lifetimes right now and helping teach these skills. And you can always find me if you just Google Adam Apollo, adamapollo.com. That's my main homepage landing area where a lot of my work is interconnected. And if you get on my mailing list, I don't send out things very frequently, but I do let people know when I have things coming up and releases for great interviews and fun stuff that I have going on, so that you can enjoy that content. So that's a little bit on me.
Excellent. I will definitely put your links in the show notes for sure to get all that information. What a fascinating trip. Yeah, that would be awesome for sure. Yeah. And then to follow up and just continue to teaching what you're putting out here is a really great thing. I love the Shift Network as well. I've taken many courses with them.
Yeah, they're great. Absolutely great.
Yeah, they really are. So as we go to close, I'd like to come back and just kind of give our listeners one last uplifting thought on how you feel that working in lifetimes, spiritual explorations of Earth and galactic past lives can help to empower the spirit right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, we all have a path in front of us. And the question is how much are we going to live our purpose in that path? How much are we going to bring our gifts, our skills, our knowledge, and our abilities to the challenges in the road ahead in our lives? This work of integrating your past lives will give you new skills and abilities and knowledge to face any and every challenge that could come your way, and to do so with more grace, proficiency, more easeful nervous system, and with the allies that you need to have to do your great work, because many of us have built the deepest connections across lifetimes. Times we went to war with people, we experienced the depths of love across multiple lives, and we have a family that we've traveled through time with. And when you start to recover that family and bring them back into your life now, you discover you have the most incredible allies, people that you can count on no matter what. And they're here and they're with you and they're ready to go on this journey with you now. So the kinds of gifts that you're going to get from exploring this book and or coming into these courses with me goes far beyond any bullet points or marketing documents I could send you, and in reality is profoundly sacred and life-changing. And I hope that you find in yourself the courage to go on this adventure, to know who you truly are, to finally actually know who you are and what your purpose is and why you're here and why you came. Because man, it's exciting to go at life from that place.
Yeah, to touch into your soul, that infinite potential. Yeah, and to keep evolving and expanding. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, Adam, congratulations on your work. All the best of luck with it. Thank you for joining us, To Your Spirit.
Thank you. It's an honor, Terri. Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you. Wow. What a powerful and validating conversation with Adam. I am so grateful for his wisdom and for the work he is doing to bridge the gap between science and spirituality and bringing forward all of that galactic energy. It is here and we are advancing in humanity. It is a profound confirmation of the work we do here at the Empowered Spirit Show and in my past, present, future, the Akashic Healing Timeline Method of Healing. As we discussed in the episode, understanding our past life and our soul's journey, it's not just about uncovering fascinating stories. It's about healing, integration, and stepping into our full potential. It's about remembering who we truly are and bringing all that wisdom back forward into our present life to help us set the energy of our future. And if this is a conversation that resonates with you and you are feeling a calling to explore your own Akashic records, I invite you to learn more about the past, present, future Akashic Healing Method class I will be offering in January. This program is designed to not only teach you how to access this wisdom, but to provide you with the support and guidance you need to navigate this profound journey. Having a mentor to guide you through this process is incredibly powerful and is my honor to support my students as they unlock their soul's wisdom. I have many events coming up in December, locally and online. You can learn more about all the events at my website, terriannheiman.com. This interview will also be on YouTube. If you're not watching it there now, hit that subscribe button. And as we go to close out this episode, I want to leave you with a final thought. Just as that full moon on December 4th will illuminate the night sky, may this conversation illuminate the truth of your own magnificent spirit. You are a being of infinite wisdom and potential, and you have everything you need within you to create a life of purpose and joy. You don't have to do it alone. Thank you so much for listening. May you find happiness and joy in this holiday season. I am your host, Terri Ann Heiman, To Your Spirit. Namaste.